As someone who's completely awful at blowing my own hair out, do you have any recommendations for women at home who, are trying to do a good blowout at home?
Absolutely. I mean, like I always say, great beginnings kind of last a lifetime, and you need to prep your hair first. You can't just, have 4-day-old hair and expect to have like that beautiful salon blowout without getting in the shower and giving yourself a great shampoo and condition. So, I mean, that's probably one of the big things. And you need to use, you definitely need to use a product that's going to give you everything that you need, like for whatever it is that you're doing. So, in this case, I feel like, you always need moisture. I mean, I feel like every girl, just because they put so much damage and they, with the coloring and, and all the stuff that we're doing to our hair these days, you just have to have that moisture in your hair.
Right.
So, I'm basically the Dove Daily Moisture right now is just amazing. Like, it makes your hair 5 times smoother right when we get out. So that will help you tremendously. Just the fact that your hair is going to be smooth getting out of your shower and not just like completely crazy.
Right.
Also, do you blow dry your hair in your bathroom, or do you go out of your bathroom where it's not so humid and there's not already all the moisture in there?
Well, I do it in my bathroom, which sounds like it's part of the problem.
That's probably a little bit of the problem, just because you do have so much hair. It's kind of like one of those things where you're basically blowing the like a piece dry, and you're moving on to your next piece, but then the water and the air is just sitting right on that piece that you just dried, and now your style is basically falling flat before you even get out of the bathroom.
Right.
So
I mean, half of my problem is that my arms hurt by the time I'm done.
Right. Well, and especially because it's hot in your bathroom, too. I mean, if you sat by your air conditioner and let the air conditioner blow half of it around while you're blowing your hair out, that might get it done a little faster as well.
Right. It might be a little more pleasant.
Yeah, and it's not going to be so hot, and you're not going to be, your poor shoulders aren't going to be like, you're not going to feel like you're like Quasimodo with one shoulder that's like, massively more muscular than the other side because of you blowing your hair out. So yeah, I mean, little things like that are great tips. I also feel like to get more of like that salon quality blowout, once you get some sections that are dry and they're the way you want them, kind of try to like either wrap them up around your finger and pin them so like they stay kind of in some sort of shape, as opposed to just letting them droop and fall out, especially with your length hair, how long it is. Try to keep it so it's gathered in a way that while it is cooling and setting, it's kind of like keeping its shape.
Right.
So that could be something nice. And then also don't take such super tiny sections, because a lot of times when you have a lot of hair that's fine, if you're taking really small sections, you're actually over drying it and you're kind of pulling the style out of your hair as opposed to putting life back into it.
Right.
So, I mean, I think with a few of those, obviously, use like a boar bristle round brush. Try to stay away from anything that's like really, really heavily metal, because they just get too hot. So then you get the hot air with the hot metal, and you're just overheating.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Perfect. Okay. So now that I'm going to have an amazing blowout, courtesy of you, what do you think is one hair product that every woman needs to have in her repertoire?
Dry shampoo.
Okay.
I mean, by far, I think everybody needs to have a dry shampoo that they love, that works for them. It's gonna promote the length of your blowout. So now that you have this beautiful blowout, you want it to last at least through the day, and especially with it being so hot and humid, we start sweating, our necks get hot, and all of a sudden, like the little curls of death, as I call them, the ones that come back, your little ringlets on your hairline, they come back right away, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, everything else is glassy except my little things. So all of that can be preventable, but also, at least how I'm loving to say to use dry shampoo is use it almost preventatively. Don't use it when you're like sweating. Like, use it before you're going to sweat. If you know you're going out into a really hot day, and if you know you're going to be standing, like at the subway for 20 minutes waiting for that train, then it's nice to already have the buffer on your scalp. So if you do sweat, the dry shampoo is already absorbing it. So it's not like something you're using after the fact. You're actually thinking about it and saying, wow, why don't I just, prevent this from happening?
Right. That's a great idea, because I feel like by the time I'm using dry shampoo, it's already too late.
Yep, and that's kind of what happens.
It's just a mess.
Yeah, and it's usually not on hand, right? It's usually not like right in your back pocket, so.
Right. Okay,
yeah.
I love that. And lastly, what about any upcoming fall hair trends that you're excited about?
I'm I'm excited to get away from all the really messy braids because I just felt the last 2 summers and everything, it's just been all about that deconstructed fishtail braid and, and then like the crown braid and all that kind of stuff. And everything was very messy. And
Right.
I'm really looking to see like everything go back to very sculpted styles. Like, I mean, I'm really trying to start really getting back into doing blowouts that are almost very Jessica Rabbity, where they still got a little bit of
Ooh.
movement, but it's not that wave anymore. It's not that same wrap your hair around a curling iron thing. It's actually back to almost, setting your hair or doing really big, big bouncy blowouts that I just think they're so much more feminine, and I just feel like
Right.
they're just so sexy in a way that is so different than that, boho kind of feel. Like I really want to go back
Right.
to like glam, and I feel like with all of the love of Great Gatsby and all of that kind of stuff, I think women will really start embracing all of that kind of hairstyling again.
Great, great.
You'll have to come in and
well,
let me practice on you. We'll knock some hot rollers out in that hair and see how that works.
You definitely got me excited about it.
Good.
So,
Good.
all right. I think our time is probably up, unfortunately.
Okay.
Hold on, let me see.
Well, I mean, you know how to reach me, and you can always find us at dove.com/greathairaffair.
All right. Well, thank you very much for fitting me in today, sir.
No problem, Lise. It's always great talking with you, honey.